Hello friends, welcome back to Roll and Play. We're back to play Cats, and we have Devra with us again. Thank you for being here.
Oh, I'm very happy to be here. I can't wait
to see the rest of this story.
to see and participate in the rest of the story.
and take leadership for the rest of the story.
Listen, I don't know why I've been given this. Yes, I do take leadership.
And Angie, thank you for being back with us again.
It's Angela. I'm back.
Julian,
Yeah,
still here.
Still there, always there.
And Karen.
And Karen.
Thank you again. And A,
It's me.
you're back.
I'm here still, I guess.
There you
I live
are.
here now.
And we're still playing Cats, and it's still Black Book Editions who's making this possible, and you can still find all of the information about the game in the link in the description. And we're back thanks to Holy, our sponsorship for the show, our sponsorship for this episode more specifically. In fact, all 4 of the ones that you're going to be seeing. And this time we're going to roll around flavours, and I actually wanted to tell you that I picked cherry, which has been my all-time favourite since we've been working with Holy from the very beginning, which you're not a big fan of.
No, I'm not a big fan of cherry. I'm a big fan of acai hibiscus, and I'm a big fan of lemon in the hydration line of products.
Yeah, because the cherry's energy, the hydration is, there's no caffeine in it.
Yeah.
And, right. And
Well, I've got a tea that's also hibiscus. It's hibiscus, vanilla, and raspberry, and it's delicious. So my cat mug does approve.
I like anything with lemon in it. Lemon. So this one is lime, mint, and matcha that I'm having right now.
matcha.
Pretty good.
I'm also having that one and enjoying it a lot because green tea and matcha is always a fave.
You can find the link in description and get a $5 discount on all of the products. It was in the first episode as well, second episode, and you'll have that every time in the description. Just roll underneath, it'll be there. Well, thank you them, thank you for the drinks, and we're gonna roll
Praise
into the
be,
episode.
Thank you, Germany, again.
Thank you, Made in
Germany.
Berlin. Back to you, A.
We pick up right where we left off. Quick recap for everybody because it has been a whole week, definitely.
Yeah. Who are we again?
So you're in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, where weird happenings have happened. They've been happening, the happenings. Lots of cats have gathered on the steps of not only this museum, but as far as you know, most of the major museums in the world. These regressed cats, also you learnt, are hearing a message that almost got to you, Marie, and as you investigated further inside of the museum, you were drawn to the Egyptian wing, and you've now ended up in the Temple of Dender, staring down this grandiose temple, and that's where we left off.
I wanted to ask you last time, does that mantra ring any bells to me? Move, stay, gather, collect, unite, grow.
They are very simple words that you've definitely heard before. This mantra specifically, though, is not something that you're familiar with.
Okay, so I'm not gonna brag about my knowledge in that case.
Please don't.
And
That already.
question, since this is the source of the mantra, the chant, we can still hear it, right? We're in the basement and it's loud as...
I don't think we're in the basement yet, are
So
we?
you're not in the basement.
Oh, we're not in the
You're
basement?
in the Egyptian wing.
Okay,
of
the
the
Egyptian
I'm trying to get
wing.
everyone to
Okay.
the basement, but people are getting distracted.
And
Right.
you're not hearing it because you're
we're
not
not.
tapping into it.
Okay.
This is a signal very specifically aimed for regressed cats.
Okay.
Or people with great powers of telepathy.
Oh, so... Oh. So only she heard it and she told us what
Yeah.
it was. Okay, right, got it.
Can you describe what we're seeing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're seeing, again, this big room, glass windows on the side, glass ceiling, very bright, water in a sort of angular rectangle. I know maths and geometry.
It's a shape.
Yeah, a rhombus.
And you're seeing kind of a stone structure, which is just a temple with hieroglyphs marked onto it on the sides, and then there's a projection coming from one of the sides. It's the standard museum one, and underneath this structure, if you walk inside of it, first there's an archway, and then if you walk through, you can enter the temple and go in the back, and they have a little sculpture there.
An old sculpture.
Quick spark of knowledge, a little anecdote. We invented this thing we called the golden number, and we built everything based on that, and we told them it was a divine thing.
Do you mean the golden ratio?
The golden ratio, yeah, that one.
You could tell the humans anything's divine, they're gonna...
Yeah, they just go for it every time it works.
Every
It's
time, like
amazing.
boxes.
Could we move on? Or
I would love that.
We have like
great.
a mission to.
We need to
perform,
get to the bottom,
you wanna
literally,
roll
of
for
this
Yes, I
by
can
getting
roll.
down to the basement.
She's rolling what?
Yeah, let's do
History.
that.
I'm rolling history.
Oh Lord!
Rolling history.
Oh Lord!
So we have 8 on the dice, and history is with an H, isn't it? Oh, it's not on here. Which history?
He
Cat
has
history?
human habits and customs,
Yeah,
Maybe.
or general knowledge.
I guess general knowledge.
general knowledge would be
Of
good.
course.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, +9. That is amazing. So that leads us to a 17.
All right. You know everything about this temple. You know when it was built. You know who it is for. This is a temple to the goddess of healing and magic. The humans have renamed her over the years, Isis, but you know her as Aset. You know about all of the intricately decorated signs on the walls. You know about the entire story of why it's even there. And I guess
Very good,
that's what you
Daniel
know.
Jackson. Very good.
Since you know all this, could you perhaps tell us why the cats are reacting?
That is not part of your knowledge, but I'll let you roll for it if you want.
It is most unusual. I'll have a quick think about that. In general knowledge as well?
No, spot hidden.
Spot hidden, and spot hidden, not as efficient, but still 15.
Okay. You're sensing that somehow you've ended up in the correct spot.
That's good.
And as you look a bit closer at the projection that's coming from the side, usually what it does is it shows in colour what the hieroglyphs that are now just carved into the stone because of time passing. It projects onto it the colour that it was expected to
Previously,
be back
okay.
then. And you're seeing a weird thing on this reflection.
This is most peculiar.
All of the gods.
What are you sensing?
all of the gods that are meant to have god faces have been replaced with glitching in and out cat faces.
Well,
Strange.
when we did this, we didn't put, well, we didn't want to make it too obvious, so we didn't put cats everywhere. We put a few pigeons and stuff. So everyone's cats here, and that is not normal at all.
But you're sure we're in the right spot?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we are in the location where it seems to be maybe the source or emitting. I'm not too sure how to. I mean, I'm not a tech person, but
I do tech. I do tech. But I'm not sure if there's tech here.
well, there's the projection.
There's a projector.
There's a
Yeah.
Oh, there is a projector. Dang, you're looking at me like this is the right track. But what I can do with my tech abilities is I can either turn off the tech, so turn off the projectors. I don't know if that's helpful, or I can scramble the tech.
I think even our man here with the opposable thumbs could probably turn off the projector.
Yeah, there is an on and off button.
Yeah.
I could
Yep.
do it.
Well,
Actually.
why don't you do that so I don't have to use a rank?
Yeah.
Or maybe.
Well, no, what else can you do? Maybe something
tell
to.
us.
What exactly is the point of turning the projector off?
Well, that there's something strange about the data there.
I mean, can you read the hieroglyphics? You're a Peabody boy.
I sound necessary, you know.
Well,
Right.
it was a compliment, so.
Oh, no, unnecessary to read the hieroglyphs, I mean. So I didn't learn, no, didn't bother.
Yeah, but remember that when we entered the room, the cat outside started shouting and scrambling. You know?
Yeah,
So
okay.
clearly we've triggered something.
So have they
We
dispersed?
need to find out what it is.
Or
You
they're
don't
just
know.
screaming?
You don't know.
Okay.
You're not hearing them anymore.
Okay.
Maybe you can do your thing where you see.
I think we were closer with the projector idea, but sure.
Okay, let's do the prediction.
But that will mean I cross out more
No.
zeros.
We need your powers.
Yeah.
Let's combine powers. Me and you, together against the world.
I turn off the projector.
You turn off the projector by pulling the plug, and it fizzles, but it stays on.
Oh, that is weird.
What do you mean?
Okay.
It should not.
Should not stay on.
I've unplugged it, so
What
obviously it
What does
should
that mean
be-
when you unplug and
Yeah,
plug?
when you unplug, the electricity doesn't go to the device, and it stops working. You know?
Do you know about this?
I'm actually thinking Miri knows a lot about space travel. Do you think this could be interplanetary?
I mean, I don't. Obviously, cats do use space travel, but I don't really know what it has to do with all this. I mean, I'm not
Well,
I'm
really
just,
sure.
that's the first thought that came to my head.
Well,
Well, the
That's what
problem
I'm
is
thinking.
it's still working and it should not. So maybe
Should I try to scramble?
you should try to scramble
That's
it, or
a
maybe
good
you
idea.
know why it would still be working.
You know, I
Analyze
study
it.
simian tech and I've never seen anything like this. So I can try to scramble or turn off and see what happens with my powers.
Yeah, but this is simian tech, but certainly with cat powers in it.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
it affects the cats. So I think there is something behind it.
First of all, we should probably listen. Are the cats still meowing?
Roll a. Let's do spot hidden again, and we'll call it.
Who's going to do spot hidden?
Whoever wants to be listening in.
Go on, you mentioned that, didn't you? I think.
Okay, yeah. 3 again.
Yes.
8 plus 9, 17. She has.
Ooh.
Not bad.
You
Got a good sheet here, you know?
Yeah.
you sort of turn your ears backwards
Ooh.
and start to very carefully listen. And cats are always a bit wary doing this because you're in New York, so noises can get overwhelming. What you're hearing is regular New York. There's no cats, more than they should be around here. And it looks like there's more of a weird human atmosphere going on now.
Oh Lord.
So it seems the meowing cats have stopped meowing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Maybe
left.
the left.
Or left. Okay.
But there are still humans.
I wonder if it was a result of
humans,
the projector.
Okay, I'm gonna try to scramble the projector.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna use 1 rank. I think would do it now.
Okay.
So the way that I do that is I shake my little butt, and out of the end of my foxlight tail comes a spark, which scrambles the projector.
As you tap into your powers, you sense something a bit weird going on. You feel more powerful than you should be, and in fact, as you turn to scramble the projector, the entire room lights off. Alarms that were ringing in the distance turn off. Everything kind of quiets down. All of the exit doors just prop open on their hinges. It seems like all of the security has been disabled around you. And even if you are powerful and you know it, this is bigger than you would have expected. And as you get closer and you look at what you've done to this projector,
Oh dear.
it rings a bell, but you don't really know why. And in fact, when you look at it closer, it's still going.
Oh dang!
Right, so you've taken.
You guys, it's still going. What the heck is happening?
Well, what I believe I hear that nothing else is anymore. This is very peculiar.
So that device amplifies your power. Maybe our power. Maybe, for example, if you decide to travel back in time, you can travel further.
I
Do you mean I could go to Egypt?
Maybe not Egypt.
No! No one's going to Egypt!
So I was suggesting that maybe you would be able to go back a bit further than what you're able to do on the normal use with the normal use of your power. You know, like before everything of this happened, or like when Grace was still here.
Oh, I see.
You see?
Well, the thing is that when I do this, it sends me to my own self. So I'd be wherever I was in my library
Yes.
when I go back.
Yes.
It's
you
not.
you wouldn't stay in place.
I can't double up. No. That would be, I mean, so I believe some people have tried it in history. There's a little anecdote about that, in fact, where one of the cats actually met himself, and since then it hasn't happened since because it creates somewhat of a cataclysm.
Like a little, yeah.
And cataclysm. Didn't even realise. The play on words. We should say that more often. I'll put that in my book. Cataclysm. Okay.
You're really
still-
funny.
Still doesn't bring us
Really
closer
funny.
to Grace or to where we're going.
I really think, everybody, we should be heading downstairs.
Okay.
You said there's a sculpture in the middle of the room. What is?
It's within the temple
Okay, within the temple.
Yeah.
And what is it a sculpture of?
of the goddess that the temple is for.
Okay, all right, never mind then. Any importance to this sculpture? Something we should?
Roll a spot hidden.
8. And I have a 1 here, so I can re-roll this.
Yep.
3.
Okay,
Okay,
so an 8.
8 and 9, 10, 11.
You look at the sculpture and it looks normal.
Okay.
Is what I'll give you.
All right.
Can I look at the sculpture?
You can look at anything you want, Miri.
Or who's a good spot hidden?
Oh,
Maybe,
you wanna-
maybe we should let the investigator investigate.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's in the title, investigative journalist.
Yeah.
Maybe I shall investigate further with a spot hidden.
yes, please do. You've been
What
having
about
all the
something
luck
else
recently.
then? Is that the only one I can use?
It depends. Can you pitch me another one?
Oh, I'd love to pitch.
Convincingly.
But do one where you have like good numbers.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah,
This
no-
is how you cheat in the game.
Okay. I think a sense of smell is pretty good. Oh, leadership? What does that do?
You'll get others to follow you if you're really good enough leadership.
Okay, but I do want to investigate. My spot hidden is good stats, though,
I
isn't
think
it?
that might be your one for this
Yeah, all right.
particular task.
They're killer stats. Yeah.
And the dice have been my friend today.
Don't say this.
She got a critical
Oh, that's
success.
good. Roll again.
Roll again.
Roll it again. Roll it again. Okay, it's just a 10, but it's a 10. It's very nice.
It's just a 10.
And then plus your spot hidden.
Critical success plus a 5, that's a 15.
Oh, my.
And plus a 3,
No.
8.
Plus, oh, 18.
18.
Okay.
My
Here's all
glasses
of
fell
the
off. That's
secrets.
so
This
amazing.
is why you're the investigator.
As you walk around and you're getting acquainted with the space, you've been here for a bit now, so you're kind of accustomed to all of this. You can even start to hear the signal very, very faintly, but it's not doing anything to you specifically. And you're walking around, you're looking at the sculpture, kind of pretending to know how to read the hieroglyphs. The sculpture, it's just there because it's there in the museum.
Yeah.
There's nothing weird about it. It's just a sculpture of who the temple is to.
Okay.
You look around the room. There are little drawings of cats hidden places, but that doesn't really surprise you because Egypt was obsessed with cats. And you walk back around to where the projector is still projecting, even though it's been scrambled and turned off. And even if you don't tap into it because you don't really know what it does or how to do that, because you're not familiar with tech at all, as you start looking around it, it does look like somehow you can't really control it from here. And in fact, when you look closer, it looks like there's something sealing it away, and you're not the person meant to activate it. And your role in whether or not it works seems limited.
I see. So perhaps somebody else might have a go here to activate it?
It depends what you want to do with it.
What are you suggesting?
For once, I'm lost for words. As are you, I can tell. I suggest that you've already done your teching, haven't you? Have you got any more tech know-how under your whiskers there?
Well, hasn't she shut down the power of half of New York?
Yeah.
The other problem is to know exactly what this projector is doing and what technology it's using.
I mean, I have telepathy. I could call my parents because they know about tech, but
Oh,
I
good
don't know if I
idea.
can reach that far. But maybe the projector amplifies my powers, not really sure.
Maybe we need
That's
a special
maybe,
item.
yes.
Go on. Continue with that thought.
You mean like a key?
A key of sorts.
Or a sort of. But then again, if all the cats are hearing voices and it's an amplification of power, then are there any powers where cats project their will, their words, mind control, but mind control over cats? Is there any such thing in my brain somewhere hidden away?
Roll general knowledge.
Lord General Knowledge. That's what's in my brain. Well, it will be a 5 with 5, 10, 14.
Not as far as you remember. You're not 100% sure. You've never seen something like this before, but it feels like this mixing of human technology and telepathy or telepathic powers, and specifically in regards to regressed cats, is not a combination that has come up before.
Well, because this is happening everywhere around the world. So does that mean there's one projector per museum?
Doesn't mean that all those projectors are linked to one source. Maybe that's it.
Do you have any, well, isn't there some kind of, who made this?
Give us the answers.
Was it
don't
Grace?
No, this is absolutely not in
Yeah,
my
what does
range
Grace
of
do exactly?
skills.
Yeah, what does Grace
Yeah,
do
what does
exactly?
she
Tell us
do?
a little bit more about Grace.
Grace is an agent as a counsel, and she
A very
is...
quick answer. Wait for me to get my dictaphone out.
She's an agent as a counsel, and well, she, you know, is specialized in what humans would call black ops.
What does that mean exactly?
She is doing missions when a basset and a human is required and handling delicate situations.
Wow, impressive.
Perhaps Grace is the missing link.
Of course, Grace is the missing link.
Oh, she is missing. Before we move down to the basement, I would like to know if I can roll human habits and customs to know that there are brands on devices.
Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I roll. Oh, there's a 1 there. Oh no!
Oh, critical
I just
fail.
lost a die. That's a critical failure
Okay.
on one of them. Does that mean I?
That means that's a critical failure.
Oh, so the 8 is lost forever.
It is,
Oh my.
unfortunately.
Well, I don't know anything.
You've never been more confused in your entire life. And it is throwing you off.
I'm
your
not
game.
feeling very well. I'm going to
Take a nap.
figure something out.
Yeah.
I'll. Oh, okay.
A, if I call my parents, can I reach them?
Are you trying?
Will it reach them?
What rank are you using?
Well, I mean, they're far, so I'd have to use 4 and hope it's amplified.
Is that what you're doing?
You could use the projector to try to amplify it.
Because like this is about telepathy and tech, and my parents are kind of like geniuses at that, so maybe they might be good to call.
I think that's the best idea.
I think this is a very good idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
I'm gonna do 4. I have to give it my all. They're far. Okay, so
Go for it, Miri.
I'm contacting my parents. Hey mom, hey dad. Just want you guys to know I'm having the best time. I'm on the coolest mission, but like it's really hard and
Miri.
yeah, let me get to the point here. So I'm gonna send you telepathically all the info, and this kind of seems familiar to me, but I can't figure it out. Do you guys have any words of wisdom to give me or any advice about what I have just sent you?
You wait and you wait a bit longer. You've never been able to reach your parents before.
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
always
they're
been
far.
too far. And after a beat, oh my God! Is it really you? Wait, where are you? Are you here?
No, I'm in New York.
What?
I'm in the Met. Something crazy is happening and I need y'all's help.
Sure. Oh my God! What do you need? Oh, I'm getting all the. Oh, are you? When did you get this good at speaking to us? What is happening?
There is something here that's amplifying all my powers, Mom and Dad.
Oh. What would it be?
That's why I called you.
We don't work on things like that.
You guys are the most tech-savvy people I know.
That's true. That's true. Maybe if you try to poke it, turn it off and on again.
Maru, poke it.
Fine. Okay, so I'm gonna poke it real hard.
Ah!
All right, do I need to use an ability for this, or can I just poke
How are you poking it?
it? With my paw. I am big and beefy.
Are you trying to not break it?
I will not break it. I'm just poking it. You know how people spank TV screens
Okay,
to like get them to...
Okay, so you're gonna roll and then double your claw,
Okay.
and then depending on what you get, we'll see what happens to this device.
I have a 1, 7, and a 3.
Roll the one again.
Roll the 1 again. Oh my God. I have a 10.
It does nothing,
cancels that.
unfortunately.
7 plus
Plus
10.
10.
Oh,
17.
Okay.
Because you
Okay.
double claw.
oh, right, okay.
You try to gently go and tap the thing.
All right,
And then, unfortunately, you're not entirely sure how it is meant to stay up or how you're meant to poke it, but you
Okay.
tap it a bit hard and
Okay.
it breaks and falls over. Damn it. As it clatters to the ground, it beeps twice.
Oh.
And then if you look at it, there's a symbol that's appeared now on the screen of this projector that wasn't there
Okay.
before.
Yes, I did something good.
Oh my God,
Did
excellent.
that,
work.
does that work? Did it work, honey?
Yeah, thank you for telling me to
Okay.
tap it. That was really good advice.
Be really careful. I'm sure whatever appeared is really helpful for you. We love you.
Love you.
Can you contact us again more? We've not
I
heard-
can't, you're too far. You
Are
can
you
contact
coming
me
for,
though.
Are you coming for Christmas? For Catsmas?
I might have. I may be hanging out with friends. I'll let you know.
Oh my god, Abby, did you hear she has friends? Okay, we love you so
Love
much.
you. Bye. Okay, so that was 4 of my rank.
Worth it. Absolutely worth
Well
it.
done.
I will stress, because you did burn 4 on this, there is no way in hell you should have been able to contact me.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
How much do I mark off on?
Oh no.
No, you
No,
didn't
that's
use. You
just an
didn't use
ability,
your
you
gift.
didn't use a gift, so you're
What
fine.
did I use? Oh, bronze.
Yeah,
That's
just
just me.
Your natural
That's just
abilities,
me.
because
girl.
you're really strong and so you break things.
Nice.
Cool. So, what the heck is this symbol?
Can you tell us about
Yeah.
the symbol? You seem
Symbol.
to
Well,
know
I-
absolutely
I-
everything.
I walk back into
Yeah.
the temple. What have you done? What was that shatter?
There is a symbol on the screen. Maybe you know what it means.
Ooh.
Should
Ooh,
know.
read it. Read it.
Oh, now we only have 2 dice.
Yeah, 2 dice. Now, I observe the symbol.
Yeah.
And what do I see?
Okay.
You're gonna roll for it, it'll be very easy.
Okay. I've only got 2 dice
Yeah.
left, so that's
You're
good.
gonna roll for it.
Okay, 5 and what? General knowledge?
Yeah, general knowledge.
Wunderbar. It's 14.
Okay, ooh. Yeah, you know what that is. It's one of the seals that the higher up council members kind of sign things with to let other people know it's them. So
Mark of the conspiracy.
it is a symbol that they use in like official communications. It's not super well known. Most people who aren't in the higher up ranks of the council wouldn't really know about it.
not
So
very
feel
well
free to
known.
brag about that. But yeah, it belongs to, in fact, your uncle, the leader of the Progressives.
Coming from inside the house.
Should have known. Are we all privy to this information?
No.
Not yet.
So, not many people know this. But it is very curious. This is a symbol from the council.
Who does it belong to?
It's a signet that's very specific to a specific person.
Which is.
Do you know the person?
I do. I know most of the council.
Of course.
And most of the council knows me.
Sure.
But no, I feel a bit concerned. All right, I'll share it. It's my uncle. Uncle's signet.
Who is your uncle?
He is. Remind me his name. George.
The Nepo baby strikes again. I
done,
told you we
George.
should have never brought him with us.
He is Mirui. And a fine individual.
Does
Although
that
we.
ring a bell? Do I know the name?
Yeah, it's kind of like, speaking in human terms so everybody gets what we're dealing with here. This is, think of the Speaker of the House in the US when you're British. So you would know about them because they've been on TV. You've heard the name and you know how the council is run and you know that there is a leader to each faction. And so you would know either by name or at least by association the man we're speaking about.
So, well, for fairly high status, this is most curious. Well, let's not get hasty on conclusions, though.
Does
No.
your uncle know about this mission?
Well, he's the one who communicated about
He's the
it.
one that sent us.
Yeah.
Which is weird because sending us, you, I say us, but you, into a mission where you could discover that his signet is on the machine is quite peculiar.
Well, we are in a famous museum, and this device is part of the exhibition. We don't know if there's a link particularly with the cats.
This device has been tampered with, so obviously there is something going on.
So it's the
Either
problem.
it's your uncle or it's someone who tries to accuse your uncle of
And yet
something.
your uncle sent us to meet Grace, is that correct?
Correct.
He
He gave
sent
me.
you to meet Grace.
Yes.
I believe
That
that
is
means
why we
we're
all-
We must
pawns
find Grace.
in this.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it looks like the basement is in order.
Well, finally, we
Listen
should
to
go.
you.
Yes, I
do
think
it.
Let's go to the basement and
Oh,
find
finally.
Grace.
go
Yes,
to the basement.
do it.
I don't know if we'll find Grace, but if we do, she may have answers.
And I get out of the temple without waiting.
Follow that bastet.
Follow me! En route, mes amis.
You wouldn't happen to have anything to eat, would you?
No, but
I'm a bit hungry.
She has
hungry.
treats.
You have treats? You have
What?
treats?
She has treats.
I have treats.
You have treats? Okay. Could I have some?
Oh, you want to request?
Roll
You
for
want to
friendship.
request? You want to demand food?
Roll for
Been
friendship.
nothing but rude to me
Roll
since
for-
we
roll for-
started, and
roll for
hey,
food.
I am the only one trying to make sense of this mystery.
I
of
said
Mr.
good
Laura
job.
over
I
here.
said good
Mr.
job, and
I
you
love
didn't even hear
Grace, and I'm here trying to unravel all the ends. Anyway,
You know, I did say good job one time and you didn't even hear me. So.
well, you roll for that. Those dreamies don't come cheap. I'm taking that.
I got a 10.
Oh, roll again.
We're
You
again.
have to be my friend now.
All right.
Let's see.
9. 10 and
So
a 9.
10, so 10 and then your demand food.
What's your demand food?
What's my demand? Yes, it's food. Give me food.
There's a skill. It's called demand food.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I
demand
demand
is 3.
I demand the food.
Okay, you can have a couple of dreamies. There you
Thank
go.
you. Thank you.
Sometimes I don't regret not being a food cat anymore.
And sometimes I wish I stayed in my library.
So do we.
Oh, that wasn't very kind. I was only joking, you know. I enjoy company sometimes.
Yes.
So do we get to this basement? I'm feeling
Yes.
What are you
wounded.
doing to look for the basement?
Oh,
We're following that Bastet.
I'm searching for the basement.
Okay.
Is there any
Do you have any
signs?
idea?
Spot hidden.
Spot hidden. Okay.
oh, it's a hidden basement.
Yes.
And that's a 10 and a 1.
Oh, so what happens then?
Oh,
Roll
wow.
both again, but the 10 will.
both
the 10
again.
wins.
A 6 and a 5, so
Okay,
that's
so
a 10. Spotted in 15.
Okay. You look around and you can't find a door to the basement, and then you remember you're in a museum in the public area of the museum, and it's not meant to be easy to find the back rooms of such a big museum. You would know that there's secrets hidden there.
So I'm searching for a door with private or something like that.
Yeah, you look for that. You push one, and you end up in the back room for the front-facing staff. So you'll have some coats hanging, and then a couple of like name tags. But it doesn't look like there's stairs going down, or like the stairs going down go to more exhibits. And it kind of depends how long you want to spend,
We're
because
going to
the
go
Met
to the
is
basement, so
huge.
I'm gonna spend a long time. But I'm gonna pretend I'm knowing exactly what I'm doing.
Okay, all of the others, roll Whiskers, which is intuition, to see if you pick up on the fact that you're a bit lost
I have 8.
after the third time that you walk back through the front.
17.
Okay.
So 15 for you, and I rolled 14.
The two of you, very specifically, you've been on missions before. This is weird. You've been going up and down these stairs and like back and forth through these massive rooms for like over an hour at this point. Clearly, David has no idea what he's doing.
I know exactly what I'm doing and where I'm going. Of course.
Clearly, this Bastet's not going to take us to the basement. Can anybody else help? Well, I'm a journalist.
Does everyone
And
have
I-
rank and orientation, maybe?
I'd like to
have-
point out the fact that I have a name. I'm not a
We can use our
Bastet.
sense of smell. Sorry.
I'm not sorry. I'm not just a Bastet. I've got a name. You know.
David.
Yes, thank you. Because, you know, Bastets are cats like every other cat. We just are unlucky.
I wouldn't say you're like every other cat. You're like an ugly humanoid creature that's kind of crazy, but like,
But
I
I've
get
got
where
your
you're coming from.
powers.
I was gonna dig myself
and
out of that hole,
was
but
a
I think
cat,
we're gonna
and
stay
I
there.
still am a cat inside of myself. You know, my true self. What I am is a cat. And I'd like Bastets to be recognized for what they are. This is more than just useful
Okay.
tools.
Not the right time, David.
Exactly the
Not
right
the right
time.
time. Can we use our sense of smell
You can try.
to investigate where the door might be? Where
Basements
the,
are smelly places.
What happened to the intuition thing?
Oh, intuition.
Where I got 18.
That was to spot that you were being dragged around by somebody who had
Oh,
no
right.
idea
Oh,
what was
okay.
going on.
It's
So
good,
I've stopped following you now.
it's good information.
Yeah.
Look for a grotty,
Orientation.
a grotty basement smell, like
about-
rats.
What about
I
orientation?
mean, I have rank and smell. I'm gonna try smell since a
You
smell.
think there are rats in the basement of a museum where there are
So I have 10. I'm gonna roll again.
rats that could be eaten by rats?
17.
What are you smelling? What are you trying to smell?
I'm trying to smell moldy basement.
Musty, yeah.
Other cats, maybe?
Musty. Oh, I'm trying to smell other cats in a musty basement.
Other cats in a musty basement. You don't smell other cats and you don't smell musty basement. You're in a museum. The basement would be pristine.
Okay.
But you smell cats outside, a regular amount of cats outside.
Okay.
You smell pollution from the streets. You smell paint
Paint?
from the museum.
Okay. I'm getting a little lightheaded over here.
Musky perfume.
A musky perfume
Yeah,
from you.
from me.
Very strong perfume.
Does Grace smell of anything?
Very personal question,
Smells
but
like
one that I'd also
lilac.
like the answer to.
Lilac.
Do I smell lilac?
Forgive me?
Like lilac. She has
Oh.
a perfume
Oh,
that smells
interesting.
like lilac.
You don't.
Dude.
Can we use orientation, or have we already used that? Did you say
That was sense of smell. What are you using orientation for?
to see if we might find out where the basement is?
To orient herself.
Yeah, like the direction roughly of
Yeah,
where we might be going.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
4 and 2, so that's 6 plus 9, that's 15.
15.
You do get a sense that the entry to the basement is probably not from inside, and there's probably a service door of sorts elsewhere.
Okay, this was
Either outside
important
or
information.
somewhere else
What was
that
that,
isn't
what you were
accessible
saying
from
to?
here.
That was
At
exactly
least
where
it's
I was
not
going.
accessible to you right now because you don't know where it even would be. And again, we are talking about the second biggest museum in the entire world. So even if you spend an hour in it, you've maybe done a wing and a half on one floor.
I have a rude word in mind, but I'm not going to say it.
Yes, don't say it, please.
Should we go outside?
Just
I think we should head
telepathically tell
outside
us
and
the-
look
Yeah,
for
let's
service
investigate about
entrance.
what happened with these cats and see if we can maybe find a regressed cat and see what's going on in his head now, if he's still getting the messages and...
Well, we have to go outside.
Let's
so
go
we'll
outside.
see if there
Okay.
is still regressed cats
Yeah.
there.
And look for a door.
Look for a door.
Dun dun dun.
I would suggest racing around the museum since I'm the most athletic.
you got
Run
the
around
zoomies?
trying to find. I do have the zoomies actually. I just had
From
some
the dreamies,
too.
that's
Yeah,
why,
yeah,
yeah.
that's it. So I need to get some of this energy out of me. I will run around the museum. Do I need to use something for
Inside
that?
of the museum?
Outside of the museum
Okay,
to find that
how
door?
about you
Damn.
run- Unfortunately-
Run outside of the museum to find the door.
I will use my eyes. What do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run around and look.
Okay.
Unfortunately, as you open the door, which has been deactivated, and so it's no issue to push it, you are faced with about 5 army tanks who, as soon as they see you, all point in your direction. About 100 army humans.
Is there a leader, obvious leader?
Of the
An
army?
obvious leader
Yeah.
of
I thought you
the
meant us.
army.
It's like,
Yeah.
Is somebody
officer
poking
or
his head
something.
out
I
of the
guess
thing, you know?
roll human customs, whatever it's called.
I believe we are in it
It's gonna be 11.
There's a couple of people who are holding this, and you would assume that they are the ones that everyone else is looking
I
to,
use
like,
mind control on one of them.
on one of them
Yep.
randomly.
One who has the
There's
the
about
fist.
5.
About 5.
I do have the ability to freeze time.
And I have the ability to put them all to sleep. Can I use it this time? I think this is a good time to use it.
You decide amongst yourselves.
Oh my.
what you
If we
wanna do.
freeze time and put them all to sleep, it will give us time to run around and find the.
Okay, I use time travel to get back 1 minute
Okay.
back in time.
Okay.
Oh, so we never open the door.
Yep.
Then how do we get outside?
And
window.
when I'm back, I just said, stop, we don't open the door. There are army guys, simians out there.
Why?
Do you think it might be helpful to listen in on the humans as well?
Okay.
Just to see what they're talking about in the tanks?
Yes, go ahead.
I
This,
do like
Okay.
information. That
Right?
sounds good.
this is great
What,
news.
can I roll for that? Because I have clairaudience.
If you have clairaudience, you can spend it as a gift. Do you speak human?
look at your,
Do you have a
skills.
rank in
human language.
human
do and
language?
do.
does.
Okay,
I do,
so
but I
you
don't
have
have
a rank in
clairaudience.
human language. So absolutely go ahead and do that.
yeah. Okay, guys. Come on, Maru.
Maru. I have 2 tens.
Okay, roll the 2 10s again.
Oh.
If you get a 10 again, that's a crit. Regardless, it'll be great.
It's 2 and 7.
Okay,
That's fine.
It's
That's
still
still
a
a
10.
10.
It's
And then
very
you
good.
add,
So
you
20?
said 2 and 2. No, just 1.
So 14.
Okay, 14.
That's not
You'll
a
understand
lot.
exactly what they're saying.
Okay.
You tune in and
Okay.
sort of like gruffy female voice is coming through communications from inside
Okay.
the tank. So whatever tank you tapped into, that wasn't the main one giving out orders.
Okay.
And you're hearing, we're not entirely sure what's gone on. Orders from above are a bit, let's say I'm gonna disregard this time. I guess we'll wait here until something comes out, and then if nothing comes out, we'll storm in a few minutes, but we really don't know what's inside there. We've heard some noise. All of the alarms have been deactivated. We're not entirely sure what we're dealing with. Probably a very powerful crew of trained individuals.
That's us.
That's us.
It's a rather disproportionate reaction.
Can we tune into her mind to hear that?
You decide if you want to share this with the rest.
You relay
I'm
us the
gonna
information.
remove that.
Of course, I'm going to share it with the
Okay,
rest.
then everybody hears what's
Yeah.
going on.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
So it seems like we only have a few minutes until they might actually storm the building.
This is terrible.
If you want to keep the conspiracy, I think they should not find the device.
Yes.
We have to take the projector.
And the signet.
Yes.
How much?
You're the
we
only
get?
one who
have
can carry
pockets?
it.
Yeah.
I'm
Pretty
going
much.
to carry it, of
You
course.
carry it,
don't.
and we teleport. We go to the other end of the building and teleport out, or, if we're not surrounded, or teleport further. How far can we? How far can I go? I
We
forget.
need to go
Well,
to
with
the
the projector,
basement.
I think
forgot
we
we
can go very far.
Oh my!
We have to get back in the
Every
temple.
time. Listen,
Yeah.
I know you're not trained in the art of investigative journalism, but I must tell you, as a journalism of the highest rank under Miss Violet's scoop, we need to get to the bottom of this.
Yes, but first we got to escape. So
Well-
we get back to the temple. We are near the projector. We teleport as far as we can, somewhere in the
Outside.
city,
Outside
and
of
then we
And then we advise.
investigate. We
All right,
advise.
good plan, let's do it.
They will storm and they will find nothing, and they will say, "What has happened?" And
I'm not 100% on board with this plan, but I suppose for now it'll have to do.
thank you.
Lead the way, David.
Is there any, gift shop or something in the museum?
Shop? Yeah.
Is there a
I am
postcard
kind of
of New York?
hungry again, so
Yes.
if there is...
Okay, I'm taking the postcard of New York. I don't know, postcard of the bridge,
Okay.
something like that. I show it to you.
Yeah.
There.
Okay.
We teleport there.
Fine. Fine. Let's do that.
Which bridge?
I don't know which bridge it is, but we teleport
As
there.
long as it's
There's
not
pictures.
the Golden Gate. Sorry, that would.
Golden Gate is not here.
No, yeah, that's the whole.
Do you guys have an inside joke without me? Because I'm
Yeah,
feeling
I
kind of
know.
left out right now.
He was trying to be funny, but he's not.
It's really not worth explaining.
Can't relate to that, so.
Oh, this
When you have to explain a joke, the joke is not funny.
this crew's wonderful.
Totally.
Yes.
Do you want to come with me?
Yes, I would.
Okay. You're only decent person here who doesn't mock me. Let's go
go.
then.
Are you picking up with your opposable thumbs the device?
I'm picking up the
Just
projector.
for the thumbs.
Yeah.
Just the thumbs, like that.
I was holding it like this.
Okay, I'm gonna pick it up. It's gonna be good.
So it's £11 per rank. So
Yeah,
does
that'll do.
Okay. All right.
It's gonna be.
You have to take at least one of us. 'Cause we
It's gonna be 2 ranks
me,
because
take me.
I'm taking her.
Okay.
In your arms.
Yep.
And
Don't forget to pet her tummy.
I'll do 3 ranks
Okay.
for all 3 of us.
Cool.
Yeah.
With the projector in hand, you think very hard of where?
The bridge that was on the picture. I don't know.
Brooklyn Bridge.
I don't know
The
New York,
Brooklyn
so-
Bridge,
Bro-
perhaps.
Brooklyn Bridge.
is where we'll be. And in a snap of a second, you barely even notice any time has passed at all, and you end up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Everything is stood still. All the cars are locked in there. Manhattan is small and tightly packed, which means that if something is going on in Central Park, the rest of Manhattan is closed off. I'm going to trust your honesty here. Did you think to teleport somewhere not within range of human eyesight?
To me, it would be a spontaneous
Okay.
thought process, but
Also.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, you're a bit higher up in the sort of scaffolding on the bridge. No humans have seen you teleport in, and you're now on the Brooklyn Bridge. And it does seem like a lot of simians are being affected by this?
Oh boy.
This doesn't look good at all.
No, not a very. This is going to take a while to wrap up.
Yeah.
It's good that we like adventures then.
I'm not a big fan.
Oh,
No, I quite like calm and simple things. You know.
At least the projector is here now
Right.
Yeah,
with us.
it is. Is it reacting strange?
Same symbol, still beeping every so often, a couple times.
Do we bring it back to my uncle?
how's everyone feeling about the basement?
We have to get to the basement.
Could we
on
not just
any occasion.
teleport into the basement? Do we? I mean,
They
is
don't know
there
what the basement
You
looks
don't really
like.
know what the
Do we have
basement
a?
looks
Could we get to a plan of the museum?
Okay, I've got an idea.
Yes.
And it's a very good idea,
Yeah.
actually. It's not about a plan, but let's go into a cafe that allows us to.
A cat
go
cafe,
on-
if you will.
No,
That would be the
a
perfect
cafe
disguise.
that would allow us to browse the internet, you know, and we find pictures or documentary about the Met, and we see the basement because there will be documentaries by Simians who will show the basement. They like to display.
Would they show the
things.
basement? If
Of
it's a
course, they
secret
like to
area?
display how it works, you know, something that, oh yes, here in the Met we are restoring works of art. So look at it, it's beautiful, and you see the basement.
And then we could teleport.
And
to
then
the
we could
So
teleport
once we
in
have a
it.
picture of the basement,
Yes,
so you can
we
teleport
both
us
can
back
teleport
there.
in it.
Yes.
For the first time in this mission, I feel like we have a solid plan. I'm on board.
Good.
Thank you.
Though all the humans, they do use these little smartphone devices these days. Do internet cafes even exist? Perhaps a question
yes,
for
I've got one.
you, young lady.
He has a smartphone.
Ah,
He says
well
he's
then we don't
the
even
best
need to go to an internet
Do
cafe.
I
I did
have-
get a text from Grace,
Do
you
I
know.
have,
Of course you have a smartphone.
yeah, I didn't think of that, but of course I've got a smartphone.
Glad I'm here. Glad I'm here doing God's work.
Thank you.
Doing ISIS's work.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I forget.
My goddess.
Are you,
You know.
are you an investigative journalist who knows loads of stuff and has good ideas?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can
She's
tell.
the absolute leader of this group.
I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah.
Miss Violet Scoop taught me well.
Oh, God, not again.
I'm starting to believe you really knew Miss Violet Scoop.
I did. Did you know Miss Violet Scoop?
Oh, not personally, but by name. Of course,
Ah, just
everybody
by name.
knows.
Did
Violet
Grace
Scoop.
know Miss Violet Scoop?
Oh, not personally, but by name
By
too.
name.
Yes.
Do you know, I can't wait to meet Grace.
Me
I
neither.
can't
Sounds
wait
like
to
she
find
might
out.
have all the answers.
Perhaps so. I certainly don't have any, no.
Let's find this documentary and
Let's browse the web.
browse the web.
Do we need your? Oh no, he
No,
knows
the
how to-
bastard knows.
The bastard. Do you know he doesn't like being called the bastard?
I
Just
hate
call him
being called
David.
bastard.
David.
Thank you. I've got a name. Cat.
Quickly before we go into this, can you roll just general knowledge?
Yep.
All of us? Or
No.
just him? Okay.
Just David.
It's a 10.
Hey! That is one smartphone user.
This is not for the smartphone. We'll roll for that
Oh.
in a second. Vague memory because of this conversation you just had of Violet Scoop being mentioned by Grace a bit more recently for no reason. Like you'd be mentioning a journalist more than you would expect.
But she's dead. Violet Scoop is.
Violet Scoop is dead.
Yeah,
Name it
she's
Grace.
been
I was like, oh
mentioned.
no.
I still try to find.
I guess it'll become more about, again, how quickly you can find it. You will find it regardless.
Okay.
And so just roll just human habits and customs. Just to know where to look, if you know YouTube or if you know something else.
10.
Just a 10. It does take another like 20 minutes to find the correct documentary, the correct thing you're looking for. You forgot how YouTube was called. You got on the internet like video service, service for videos and documentaries for free, and then you find a lot of like streaming websites that are very illegal. And then eventually you get to YouTube and you find what you want. All of the others lose confidence very quickly in your abilities, and if any of you want to use this time to do something, feel free. If not, we'll move into...
Well, we could just have a snack now that we're friends.
Well, you have to roll for food.
Are they,
I'm not a
One
free
roll
for all.
count. I mean,
Do you know my salary from my investigative journalism isn't very much?
do you like being bitten?
Scooped. Excuse
I
me.
mean, I could exchange bites for food.
I don't think I like bites.
I have different kinds of bites.
Tell me more.
I know. I have experienced them all. And I would say they're not that great. Well, I prefer when we like high five and stuff, but I mean high paw.
I would like to headbutt David while he's searching on Google.
Okay.
Just to give him a bit of confidence.
Uh-huh.
Oh, thank you.
Are there any
That's kind of you.
are there any other cats around, just in the general area that we could try to talk to?
Driving.
Yes. There's a cat
wanna-
right there on the bridge.
I want to
It's
look
right
into
here.
the regressed cat's mind and see what's
Okay.
going on there.
Usually when you try to tap into regressed cats' minds, you're getting such nothingness. Barely words. It's always food or hide or run or you're getting clearer notes this time. It's a bit more elaborate. It's not sentences, but you are getting, I'm hungry. You're getting a sense of self. You're getting, water is scary rather than just run away.
Relatable.
You're getting a bit deeper thoughts than you've ever sensed from regressed cats before.
Okay, I'm going to share this information with the group and propose that perhaps whatever this device is amplifies all cats' powers, including regressed cats' powers. That's my little
That sounds like a plausible
hypothesis.
That is very, yeah.
Gosh, I'm so impressed by you.
Oh my god.
I'm so impressed. I really think once this is all over, me and you, we can set up our own journalism agency.
I'm impressed too.
Oh my god, Maru.
You know that, right?
Dang you guys, if I,
I was
wasn't
impressed
already
before
red,
her,
I would be.
By the way, just so you know.
And I just look at them both, and I just, Oh, interesting.
Keep Googling.
I can't wait to tell my parents about this.
Have you found out anything yet? Like, what's going on?
It's long, it's difficult, it's human stuff. I'm used to my typewriter, not to that kind of device and thing. It's stuff I like, mechanical things.
Okay, well, just get back to it then.
You're suggesting these regressed cats are less and less regressed. You think it's only related to the device, or would it be permanent?
I mean, that I can't say, but normally I wouldn't hear this type of articulation in a regressed cat. So there's some kind of capacities that are being increased. And I would say that the appearance of the tech machine we don't understand will definitely be playing a role of some sort in this.
Oh, this is twofold. This is most amazing and catastrophic at the same time.
Catastrophic.
If the regressed cats are halfway awakened, that means they could do silly things such as just randomly release the fact that there's an entire population of cats awakened in the world.
I think that's very
They
true.
could even threaten the council, wouldn't you say?
In the entire conspiracy.
And your uncle.
What faction does your uncle belong to?
Oh, good question.
He is, I believe.
A progressist.
Yes, he's a progressist and tends to feel that, oh my gosh, I'm putting things together in my mind now. This is terrible.
You've got a little cheat sheet inside of here if you want to have a look.
No, I know his belief. He believes we should either all awaken or that Simeons and us should reveal each other to each other and perhaps cohabit somehow, or maybe the humans should. Some of them even believe that humans should have powers. I mean, a little bit dangerous if you ask me, but considering what they tend to do once they've got something in their hands. So yeah, confusing, because I'm at the same time realizing that if he is behind some form of awakening of all cats, and also trying to break the secret.
The secret?
But why would he send
the conspiracy?
you?
Conspiracy.
Why would he send you
Conspiracy.
to investigate on something he's behind?
I think we're part of his plan
To
somehow.
throw us off the scent.
There are two options. If we are part of the plan, you are part of this plan. He truly thinks that you will not uncover this and that you will not be efficient, and which would mean that he doesn't believe in this group. But
Or-
it seems that this group is made of...
Or we are so amazing that he wants us away from the council.
but we
There is
are...
something I
distraction.
must share. I believe it is common knowledge, though, perhaps. The recent, shall we say, disappearance of a group of extremists.
Extremists.
Oh, you are.
Extremists.
You are aware.
And it seems to me, I am, as we know, one of the brightest minds in investigative journalism, and also the most modest, that we, that these events seem to be linked. Now, what did your uncle think of extremists?
Well, I wasn't aware that anyone else was aware of the disappearance of these extremists.
But you were aware, it seems.
I did,
And
I
yet
am.
you failed to share it with us.
Well,
How
Convenient.
strange and convenient.
this is all. Hang on a second. This has all been very hush-hush. Even myself have been kept aside, and normally I know everything and get to know everything at some point. But this information has been kept from me. It is most bothering, and I just regarded it as, well, council affairs, but it's not normal that I'm not included in one of the situations that they're confronted with. So I agree this is conspicuous.
I found the documentary.
Okay.
Okay.
What's your faction?
Yeah.
I tend to wish for the secrecy of our conspiracy to be maintained. However, I do have a few disagreements about the way the council does things, but nothing extremist.
Indeed.
And yet the extremists go missing. How very strange.
Yeah,
they've
and
gone
what's very
missing.
strange is also that now that I remember, guys mentioned once or twice Violet Scoop.
In what way?
Oh, just around the conversation, but it came, it was strange. It was weird.
The more I think about Grace, the more I think she might be the missing piece to this puzzle.
Well,
Yeah, you said that already.
you're making.
we all agreed.
Can you seem to have something more personal about this matter? Are you investigating on the death of Violet?
Perhaps.
That's not a very clear answer.
It becomes
As
quite
an investigative
obvious.
journalism, I am obliged to keep all my sources and things under wraps, for I do not know truly who I can trust
Did
in
she-
this mission, if I have to be perfectly honest. Let's lay our cards out on the table, let's put our claws down. Let's be completely honest. I think that somebody round here, or even a few of us, probably not you, are hiding something.
Dang, left out again.
And I mean that in the nicest possible way. And I do not know yet who that might be.
Well,
So-
Marie, you're a progressist.
Marie.
I'm sorry.
My name's Maru.
Do you know what I say?
You said Marie. You said your own
I
name,
was saying
sweetie.
to myself, I was talking to myself
Your
and
brain's
saying,
a little
Marie,
scrambled."
isn't your best friend also a progressist? Do you have any insider party information that would be interesting to us?
On progressists.
Yeah. His uncle's a progressist.
He's a
They want to live
progressist.
with humans.
I hadn't realized this about you.
That I was a progressist?
Yes.
Why are you looking at me so suspiciously?
Well, you tend to.
I mean, you just want to
Pierre is
deflect the
thick with
suspicion off
suspicion
yourself, is
now.
that it?
So it's not my main intention. I just tend to put two and two together.
Oh, do you, with your two little dice there?
Oh, snap.
That was a PvP.
Breaking the fourth wall here.
Maybe you two are working together and are just trying to pull the cat string over our eyes.
Can we stop bickering about internal conflicts here? You wanted to go to the basement. Let's go to the basement and get to the end of this.
Yeah, let's finally. Wait,
Let's teleport to the basement.
Yes.
Look at the basement. This is a basement.
God.
Finally. Let's go.
That's what we do.
Let's go.
That's what we do.
You're burning your ranks again?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
of course.
Can you please burn 3?
No, I really like her. I'm gonna take her with me.
Take.
And I teleport.
Perhaps this time I might go on your shoulder.
Okay.
Just for a different view.
If you want to try burning too.
Well, I risk. Well, unless someone's put on too much weight, I risk taking someone not with me. So
We're like
I'd rather
super
not.
sporty
I'd
and
rather
slim.
not.
Yeah,
I'd rather
how
not
dare
take that
you.
risk.
What
And
the hell?
I'd rather
Just
not.
call me fat.
I didn't say that. I just.
You're muscular. You're the most muscular, beautiful cat I've ever seen. So
I'm just doing.
was saying that.
I'm just doing risk management. That's all. And I'd rather put more energy and
You
make sure
teleport
everyone-
out, and as you teleport in this basement that you've seen, you've been here for a couple seconds. There are about 10 ninjas, is what they can be described
Ninjas
as.
now?
Humans
Classic.
in full riot gear, black glasses.
Okay.
Oh no, they
Wearing
stormed
like
the
a
building.
helmet, very discreetly looking at you like this.
How many of them?
Like 25
Okay.
of them.
All right.
You just said 10.
I said 10
Yeah,
and
you
I'm
said 10.
making it 25 because I can. And before you have time to do anything, you feel yourself get teleported out of there and transported back into the World Council. You're now face to face with George, who needs a name.
It's George. With the uncle?
And that's where we'll stop
All
this
of us.
Oh my.
We need answers!
Dun dun dun.
Well done.
Stunning work.
It took a while to get to that basement, didn't it?
It
I feel like I
really
can't trust
did.
anyone anymore.
But we did a lot of things. We discovered a lot of things, and
Including
now
Google
there
and
is
YouTube.
suspicion.
You did. You discovered YouTube, which is
Yeah.
and smartphones.
I don't use YouTube. I write with a typewriter, mechanical
right, yeah, of
typewriter.
course,
I
yeah.
don't use computer.
Yeah, we
usually.
saw that when you mentioned a cafe.
Actually, I was wondering if I really had a smartphone or if I had, one of those
Nokia
very
phones.
Nokia phones where I could just text with a T9.
You have to press A
like
3
with one
times to get to a C.
Exactly.
Oh, good old days.
Right. So
good old
we
bit.
spent how many seconds in that basement? 3.
It took us an hour to get there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Amazing.
Thank you, everyone, for watching at home. We hope you enjoyed this, and we hope to see you next week. Like and subscribe. Link in the description for the Holy
Yes.
stuff.
the holy-
And we hope to see you next week. Bye.
What am I moving at? Yeah. There you go.